Welcome to the pod. You're listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. We're trying a new setup. We're on the couch because that's where we should be at when we are spilling the tea. We should be on the couch. You should have a glass of wine, some tea, coffee, your water, hydrated. I look very hydrated. I'm posting this on YouTube. I know it's been a while since I posted on YouTube, but I'm gonna post this on YouTube because the skin looks very hydrated. Like looks like a baby doll. Anyway, we're trying a new setup. My mic is like on my lap, so I'm hoping you guys can hear just fine. I just did a test and everything sounded fine. So hopefully it sounds good. But I just wanted to try a new setup. I wanted to be on my couch with like my nice rug. I wanted it to really give like intimate vibes, especially because, like I said, I'm posting this one on YouTube. I haven't been posting my video formats because hair been looking crazy, not even skin, just hair been looking crazy. And at least today I can do a slick back every once in a while, but I get my braids in. So next week's episode, I'm going to have some nice luscious braids. But yes, I'm testing out this sort of format because it's really giving like casual, like we're just talking crap with our best friends. What is going on? You guys, I'm being so proactive. I'm filming during a lunch break. Obviously, like I'm remote on the days I film, but I'm just like, let me be proactive because I have some plans later. And I'm like, you know what? I've watched everything I've needed to watch. Everything's fresh in my mind. Today's episode, we're not going to have any really reality topics. So maybe that'll, when I'm at the couch, I mean business because we're just talking reality TV. But the only thing I did want to talk about in terms of reality topics, because last week I mentioned how Tyra Banks was essentially, you know, suing Netflix and everyone because of that smear campaign of the documentary, whatever, of America's Next Top Model. It is now being announced, which is why I know she just did it to save face, that she's going to be a permanent judge or, yeah, a permanent judge now on Project Runway. So that's with Heidi Klum. We got Law Roach. We got Christian Siriano. Like, she's going to be on Project Runway. I think that's a huge gig for her. I think it makes sense for her. I think it's a good gig for her. But I just think it's really interesting how she decided to, sue Netflix. I don't think the lawsuit is going to go anywhere. And I don't think she wants it to go anywhere. I think she just did it to save face because when you look at it, this documentary was out earlier this year, March, like what, February? I think it came out in February. Um, she had a lot of negative press for like months. And I was saying that I maintained that she had a lot of negative press for a while. And I don't think the press would have died down if she needs to literally be thanking Bravo, Andy Cohen, Sierra Miller, Wes Wilson, Amanda Petula, because once that triangle happened, and all of this nonsense about it, that's when it kind of shifted and it kind of went blank. But you could not have gotten on Twitter, TikTok without a post about America's Next Top Model and Tyra Banks and the awful human being she is, which I honestly don't think she is. I mean, was she complicit in a lot of stuff? Yes. But like, you guys make sure you listen to my part one and my part two because I do cover the America's Next Top Model and all of that. But yeah, so she's now going to be on Project Runway as a judge. I might be watching. I've never watched Project Runway, and it's not even that I just can't get into it. It's just like it's one of those shows that's always falling in the background. Like I would love to get into Top Chef, and it's like I don't even know what season to start, but I love a good competition series. I really do. And I love a good cooking competition series. And I would love to tap into some Top Chef lore. That is one show on Bravo I feel like I would enjoy that I haven't gotten into. I tried Ladies of London. I couldn't get into it. I'm going to try it again. I'm hearing this McBee dynasty is interesting. Like, yes, is it screaming MAGA? But I'm hearing it's interesting. I can never get into Southern Charm. That was hard. The first season is hard. They're talking about the slave quarters and everything. That's hard. It is hard getting into as a Black woman. McBee dynasty, it might be something I try to get into. Other than that, that's only reality topics we got. Tyra Banks, Project Runway. We'll see how she does. I think she's going to do fine. I want to talk about, honestly, all of the reality TV I've been consuming for the past 48 hours, like playing catch up with everything. And I just want to start with literally Love Island because that's what's honestly bringing joy to me. Obviously, I made some TikToks. If you follow me with the reality, also follow my beauty page. I made some TikToks over the weekend and basically was just saying how like this season of Love Island has never been more boring. And I feel like just as I made that TikTok is when production was like, let's unbore the girls, let's unbore the audience, the masses. I was like, honestly, at this point, I'm looking forward to, you know, Casa Amor because I'm like, hopefully some stuff does get shaken up. I really felt, and I talked about this in my last episode, but now we know Soul has been dumped. Soul and Gabe has been dumped, and I genuinely felt like I really feel for Soul, and I'm so glad that she has left the villa now. And she has this whole army nation. It's called Soul Society. I'm so glad she has left the villa because it was so toxic. But it's like I also wanted her to meet someone in Casa Amor because I just felt like I was really out of all the girls I really was rooting for Soul. I was rooting for Beatrice. They really dumped all of the girls I've been rooting for. I really do like Kata. Trinity's growing on me once she leaves Bryce. Like I just can't. And I just genuinely believe they're trying to make it like a Nicolandria thing. Other than that, I and you know what? It's like people complain about Melanie, but we have to be real. She's not as bad as Hutta. Like I think Melanie is very self-aware of the type of person Sincere is. And I think she's very much okay with it. Like, you know what I mean? It's different when you don't know the person. It's kind of like she's like okay with him possibly being this messed up person. Also, let's just talk about Casa Amor. So Casa Amor has officially started and it needed to start. The people were too closed off. Casey and I have had the same conversations the past 5 episodes, whether he's going to explore, whether he's not. You know what? I have a bone to pick with Casey. Casey's one of those guys. I'm seeing everyone make the comparison. He's one of the guys that's like making like eye effing you the whole night at the club. It's like you finally go up to him. He's like, yeah, I was going to go up to you, but like, and it's like, lead. If you were a man, lead. I literally cannot with men like Casey. And I'm not going to lie, this literally just happened to me. So maybe that's why I'm hot about it. I don't like when men see or they're attracted to you and they don't make a move. And then it's like, when you're leaving, then you want to make a move. No, I don't want to be bothered now. And it's like, why would you have kept Solon? You didn't even want to get to know her this whole time. All of a sudden you're trying to get to know Soul, and I just feel like he don't like Anaya. And I think I talked about this in my last episode. I haven't talked about this on TikTok because it can go either way, honestly. I do think Casey is in a lose-lose situation. For some reason he keeps bringing up the black conversation about her being a dark-skinned woman, a chocolate woman. I don't know why he keeps bringing that up. And then besides that, like, it's just like they don't have any chemistry, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, whatever the saying is. They just you just might not have any chemistry. And I think Casey and Anaya, and I think more so Casey, is ultra aware that he possibly might want to be the black couple that makes it to the end. He wants to be like the Cordell Serena. And it was kind of like that's how Ace and Shelly were very aware of what was going on. And that's why nobody really cares for them anymore. I mean, Shelly alone, okay, amazing fashions. But it's like I saw outside of her last season after they got eliminated and how she wasn't really supportive towards Alandria, and it was really giving like jealousy. Like I saw it kind of swap. Like I think Ace and Shelly thought they were gonna be the Serena and Cordell when it's like the point of Love Island is like we're not making the same folks over and over again. And that's why I think I've been so like hesitant with liking Trinity, because I was like, it's so clear that you guys brought Trinity on to be an Alandria because like, you know, like the skinny, like black, like big breasts. Like it's just like Alandria is so much more than that. And now I'm finding Trinity is a lot more than that. So I'm actually glad now I've given her a chance. I had to let a couple episodes go. I had to be like, wait a minute, not in my town. Anyway, Casey's like annoying me because he's like, yeah, like I was really rooting for Soul to stay. And, you know, if she would have stayed, I would have talked to her. But it's like, why didn't you talk to her? Like, it's like nobody, you don't know when someone's getting dumped from the villa. You don't. So maybe you all should stop acting scared. Moving on from Casey and Anaya, because it's not going to work. Like, she's already crying at the preview of him getting lap dances. It's not going to work. I don't want them back together. I do want Anaya to genuinely find someone in the villa that is genuinely interested in her, Casa Amor, because I think the whole beating a dead horse, constantly going to Casey and being insecure. You guys are still talking about Soul. Soul's not even in the villa anymore. I think Casey quite possibly has the ick, but I do think he's in a lose-lose situation because he's very aware of the perception of the public in being a black couple, especially with a darker skinned woman. There's just certain optics you have to talk about, right? If she was 3 shades lighter, I don't think this would be a conversation. And I hate that this is even a conversation, but the people are saying, oh, if he does go with someone else that's not her complexion or a little lighter, she could be my skin tone. You know what I mean? And it's like, they're going to say, oh, he's a colorist. And I don't think it's that. I think Anaya has just literally rubbed him the wrong way. And I think he's genuinely just been like, I have the ick now because every time I'm reassuring you, it's like I'm going to have to reassure you the next day 10 times again. And I think her insecurities are taking over. I think Anaya just honestly needs someone that's genuinely interested in her. But for some reason with Casey, she feels like the second choice. But I do think they're both very aware. But I think Casey's more so aware. Like, hey, I kind of have to stay with Anaya just so I'm not getting a bunch of lashings on the outside. But it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So I'd really rather you just move how you want to move. And that brings me to Casa Amor because Casey is on demon time. This man is ready to let it all out. And you know what? I'm not mad at him because he hasn't explored. Anaya hasn't explored. They weren't even each other's first options. I think Casey is now in the villa and he's like, damn, I have no motion. Like, I thought I was hot. You know how humbling it is to open a door and no one be behind your door? Like when you think he was cute, and I do think Casey's cute, I would have been behind his door like 110%. But I think it's been very humbling for Casey to be like, wait, girls are not into me because he's an attractive man. I do think that. And I think he does have motion outside of this, but it's very humbling I always compare like Love Island to like sports. It's like you get drafted, you finally make it. You know how intense process that is. Like, you get drafted and then you're finally like, oh my gosh, like I made it into the NFL and now you're benched because there's someone that's already better than you and you're just their warm up until something happens. It's like, it's like Love Island, you're putting all these attractive people on here. You think you're attractive. You might be attractive in Fresno. You might be attractive in LA, but are you attractive worldwide? Are you attractive in Miami? Are you attractive in Atlanta? It's difficult. Like they always say, I just saw this one TikTok of this girl like saying, why are girls moving to Miami and complaining about like all the procedures, cosmetic surgeries that girls have done, and like saying Miami 10s are like LA 100s or whatever. And it's like, don't move to Miami, move to Ohio. Me from Ohio. But it's true. When you go out to Miami, you're about to see a bunch of baddies. I'm about to go out to Atlanta next week for a trip, and oh my gosh guys, I'm not gonna have a show next week either. Sorry, I'm just like thinking about that right now. But yeah, because I'll be out of town, but I'm going to Atlanta for 4th of July, and I'm expecting to see a bunch of Atlanta baddies that will not look like me. I'm expecting to see BBLs. I'm expecting to see a bunch of lymphatic drainage on the stomachs, if you know what I mean, because they're called lipo stomachs. No shade, no tea. The people can tell when you have lipo on your stomach because the stomach is not giving a real stomach. It is giving Sims. But other than that, like I'm expecting to see a bunch of like Atlanta baddies, and it's just like I'm totally fine with not being an Atlanta baddie because that's me. I mean, I'd like to think of myself as like not just a Midwest baddie, but like a baddie, but like Atlanta, I'm saying like Atlanta baddies, Miami baddies is kind of a different breed. Y'all go ahead. You know what I mean? Go ahead with that. Y'all can take the cake with that, right? I think I'm more of like a northern, like DMV baddie, right? Atlanta, Miami, y'all can have that. But regardless, you're putting all these attractive people on one island. And now it's like, dang, am I really not a baddie? Because no one's moving for me. So I think KC's now in Casa Amor. The attraction is there. The women, these are some pretty women. I'm talking the Persian girl. Unfortunately, I can't remember her name. I do remember Tiara in the nurse outfit, who I think is gorgeous, who has made it clear that she's very interested in Casey. And I really want her in the village. She seems like a very cute, cool girl. And I want to see Casey in lust. What did he say? We're on Love Island, we're all lustful. I want to see him actually like and enjoy his connection, because I actually think Casey's a dope dude. And I want to see Anaya actually enjoy her connection. So there were 5 girls that came in. Unfortunately, there might be 4 by the time we tune in to tonight's episode, because it looks as though Alana, the one in the Victoria's Secret, she was very small, very petite. The one in the Victoria's Secret costume has been exposed on social media for saying the N word. And I'm just like, how many times do we have to go through this? Like, I I have to say it. Like, yeah, I'm a black woman. I don't think anyone that isn't black should be saying the N word. But obviously, production is not vetting them enough. Maybe you should get like hire some Gen Zers. What's annoying and frustrating to me as a viewer is being introduced to people prematurely, maturely, and then them being yanked out of the villa. I was very upset when they yanked out Sierra, obviously from last season when she used a Asian slur, which, I had to be educated, because like I only know of a couple of slurs, so I didn't even know it was a slur. So obviously once we were educated, all of that stuff, we knew. And then she had actually apologized for it, and I felt like her removal was pretty premature. And now we've met Alana. She's done this whole challenge licking down these people, and now she's not even in the villa. From what I'm hearing, I'm pretty sure she's going to be exiting the villa. But it is annoying when they're constantly getting these people on, and then social media is social media. And it's like, are y'all getting paid to like expose these folks? Like, I understand, but it's like, I promise you, I I don't know how to say this and like not sound like insensitive. I just really don't care if they are saying these words or not. Like, I really don't. I'm just here to watch the show. That doesn't mean I'm voting you in or keeping you out. I don't think she would have lasted long anyway. You know how many couples are going to be in there once people reunite from Casa and the villa? Like, girl wasn't even going to make it far. Thank you for this information. Noted. Continue on with the show. What happened to separating the show from? It's difficult with the show though, because it's reality TV. But I'm like saying, in terms of like a TV show, this person. They say Superman is a crazy man, allegedly, the Superman with like the nice hair, right? They say like he has a history with like hooking up with younger women, a lot younger. And they also said he had a drug problem, but he is still Superman, and they're constantly cleaning up his image. I'm hearing a lot of behind the scenes with that, and they're like, they should stop casting him with women that are 25 and under, basically. But what's his name? What's his name? Henry Cavill. Let me see who's Superman. Henry? Yeah, I know his tea. If you are watching me on, you see, I love kind of like throwing in tea and then like deciding to just drop the whole thing. Like, I'm like, oh, like I mean, were there not rumors about him hooking up with underage people allegedly, but he's still Superman. So I think with Love Island, like, first of all, production, get better at vetting these people. I don't even want to meet someone that possibly has a checkered history, or is like over here offending whole nations, right? But then also, if you're going to bring this person on, if they've already apologized, or if this was from 10 plus years ago, I don't know if I really physically care that these girls who are 21, 22 were saying this at 10, 11 years old, even 15, 16, because it's like an ignorance thing. Like, I just feel like if someone was to pull up everything I've said in my past and try to use it against me today, it would be different. Now, white people say, I'm just saying, white people say the N word, and it's not okay. It is not okay. It keeps happening. But like, it keeps it's gonna keep happening. It's gonna keep happening. And that's all I can literally say. I don't know what we're supposed to do about it. I guess get her off. But I'm also like, the fans sometimes they be too involved for me because I'm like, I'm not about to be, or whoever you be offended in your past life, whoever you didn't send some stuff to. Oh, I definitely know I've sent some stuff to some people. And maybe if I was on Love Island, they would put me on blast and I would be out, right? I don't know, but it's like, I don't know. I just think I'm at this point where I'm like, cancel culture for Love Island is so dumb for me. Like, it is so dumb. I'm just like, let's just leave it. Let's just leave it where it's at. Let's not get too involved. Let's not go down these rabbit holes of trying to prove that these people are terrible people because they didn't use a word they had no business using 5+ years ago. And that's my mantra, is like 5 years. I'm not saying no if you did it 4 years ago, like whatever. Like guys, I said the most ignorant stuff in college one time. I don't even want to repeat it, and my friend had to say that was ignorant to me, for me to be like, and I was drunk too, but it's like I remember that very vividly because I found out something, I said something, and she's like, that's so ignorant. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, check the people in real time. Don't try to carry that into one. And me and the girl still cool. Like, it's not like best friends, but it's like, check the people in real time. So I'm hoping whatever was going on, I'm hoping they checked this Alana girl in real time or whatever. It's just really annoying. I'm really excited though. This whole week is gonna be Casa Amor filled. The ladies, unfortunately, did not get any preview to what they're receiving. The only preview they got was to what the men are doing. And I can tell you this, I actually do think Mel and Sincere are going to make this through. If anything, I think Mel's going to be on her worst behavior. I don't think any of the women in Casa are attracted to Sincere. I was looking because I'm not messy, but he looks very different than his Instagram as well. He is a lot more jacked up, and I don't know if he's not eating his protein in the villa or if he needs to do some more push-ups, but he's looking very scrawny. He's looking like a good Bryce. Or maybe Bryce is looking like him junior. I don't know. Like, he's lost all muscle mass. He's not cute. And it's like you just got hair. So it's like, I don't think any of the women were moved for him. It looks like he might be interested in the girl that's going to be interested in Casey. Corbin is definitely bringing home the Persian girl. And they're both from Miami, and they're both the same age. Just saying, it's giving him and Kenzie definitely aren't going to make it. But the biggest plot twist I have yet to see is apparently they're bringing in a whole truck of men for the ladies. You know what? I'm glad. Like, let's mix some stuff up. I even think that Ariana and production are a little frustrated with this season because they think the people are locked down a little too crazy. Love Island UK has been amazing. The couples are changing every day, and I think this is the way that Love Island should be ran. But in terms of the women and what they have look in what they have to look forward to, the women are getting 12 men blessed upon them. 12 men. Unbelievable. I'm assuming the men are going to have to make good first impressions, and each lady will have to choose which one she's actually interested in keeping here in the villa, or based on looks or like first impressions wise. Like, I don't think they're gonna have all 12 of them living in there the whole time. Casa Amor is running this whole week, and it seems as though it's a little extended. Normally it's like 3 episodes. I think it's this whole week. It's gonna be obviously tonight, and then Wednesday there's a break. Thursday, Friday we're gonna have a cliffhanger from some recouplings, and then Sunday will be an epic episode, I'm assuming, or it'll be the recoupling episode and the blowout from Casa Amor. Very excited, but yeah, I think actually Sincere and Melanie, or I think Sincere is actually going to be faithful because I don't think any other women are interested in him, and it could be because of how he did Soul. So yes, let's move on. I want to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta really quick. It wasn't a very eventful episode. This is all leading up to, Scotland. So it all comes back perfectly because, like I said, I just realized at the calendar, next week is 4th of July. So I won't be recording an episode unless if I can record an episode prior, but I'm actually leaving like next Thursday. So it'll be difficult. No, I'll have an episode this upcoming week. It's the week of 4th of July. Sorry, so I misspoke. I will have an episode next Tuesday because next Tuesday I won't be in Atlanta. It'll be the following episode. I'll let you guys know. So yeah, we have another episode. But it kind of works out best regardless once I'm gone, because Atlanta, I don't think Atlanta's coming back until the 12th. I think they're taking a 2-week hiatus. I don't know who told them to do that. So I don't even think they're coming on this weekend. Or maybe they're starting the Scotland trip and then they're taking a break for 4th of July as well. This episode was kind of, it's not boring because I don't think Real Housewives of Atlanta has had any boring episode yet this season, but it was definitely giving filler. There wasn't really much that happened. My notes, I did watch Shamea. She had an interview with Carlos King, and I think perhaps the biggest thing I learned was that her and Portia were cool growing up, but Portia was more cool with her sister, and they didn't really get close until Portia went through a divorce. Her first divorce with Cordell. They didn't become like really best friends until then. Um, I'm seeing an attack on Shamea. I'm seeing an attack on Shamea and Kelly. Like, obviously, I think people should be held accountable for the things they say, but I think we got to drop it. I don't understand, and I'm hoping maybe we figure this out soon. I don't understand what Angela and Shamea's beef is. Like, going back from square one, what is their issue? Is their issue not originating from Shamea laughing at Portia's joke and Angela being upset because she's like, as a married woman, I would think you wouldn't do that. But I don't understand how Angela could be cool with Portia. I'm the 3%. I don't know. I think I'm seeing a dog pile for Shami, and it's kind of making me want to root for her. I'm seeing the audience kind of go against her, and it's making me want to root for her even more. I don't think she's a terrible person. I think she is someone that is used to being the center of attention, and now she is on her former friend's show, and she's realizing she's not a cool girl because she's not cool with her former friend, and this is her former friend's show. Let's just put it out there. Shamea had a breakdown at the end of the episode. She's like, I get it, you guys don't want me a part of your group. I feel really bad for Shamea. Am I a Shamea apologist? No. Do I think she do some weird stuff? Yes. But I just see someone that's like crying for help and that genuinely does want their friendship back with Portia. And I think whatever that text exchange was, I'm hoping we know what happened very soon. But I don't know. I'm not liking the clear attack on Shamea from all angles. You know, Cynthia constantly bringing up the issue with Shamea and Portia. It just seems like everyone's trying to like, put their 2 cents in, and it's like we're all team Portia. And I can understand how Shamea feels very secluded and alone. And yeah, so watching her Carlos King interview, she did lie. I told you I'm not an apologist, so I have to call it like it is. She did lie. They brought up the Phaedra, the pointing in the finger, in the whole accusing her and Candy of sleeping together. Carlos King asked her, did you know that scene was happening? Because there's a situation that happened throughout the season where you don't defend Portia through something. And then she was like, no, I had no clue. But it was like kind of her um, own medicine. And he was like, so then Candy would have told you that there was a scene happening about them claiming that you guys have slept together. And then she was basically like, no, Candy didn't tell me anything. But he was like, but then it doesn't explain your behavior towards Portia throughout that season where she is under fire and you're kind of just letting her take it. Like, so someone may have given you a heads up about it. She lied. Someone definitely gave her a heads up that, hey, they're talking about you and Candy's relationship and your friend's not defending you, therefore she didn't defend Portia. I don't know what situation you were talking about, but she did catch up in the lie like that. And Gerald did come on, which I thought was really nice. I think they really love each other. I think he loves her. So here's the naysayers saying that he's literally going to leave her if he doesn't produce a son. And I talked about this on one of my previous episodes. African culture, Asian culture, American culture, every dad wants a son, just like every mom wants a daughter. Maybe not like every mom wants a daughter, because I do feel like there's a couple of women out there that are like, no, I would love to be like just a boy mom, or like, no, I don't want daughters. But I feel like a lot of men want a son. And so I always just said he could be totally happy and satisfied with everything, but it's like if they do have more embryos, they're going to try everything they can to have a son. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Gerald came on Carlos King and he was like, And Carlos King asked him straight up, like, hey, do you like Shamea being on this show because you don't like filming? And you could tell he didn't even like Carlos King filming him. He was like, no, I don't, I like that she's doing this, you know? And he was very supportive. And that's all the vibes I got. Shamea, besides that one lie, it was very nice. I urge a lot of people, especially the Shamea haters, to just listen to the interview because it was just nice to kind of see like the full circle moment. Like she talks a little bit about her first marriage, and you know, she talks about her friendship with Portia. She talks about her saving grace on the show being Kelly because she was like, none of these girls really wanted to become my friend. They weren't really interested in forming further friendships with me, besides Kelly. And she was like, I'm really glad because her and Kelly are like actually good friends. They talk a little about Jarvis, and Gerald does know Jarvis. Now, Kelly, the one thing I will say that this would have been in the reality topics, I hope Jarvis ain't from no Potomac, who's in Atlanta now and that used to date Mia Thornton, because there were some photos alluding to the fact that when she was going on the radio show, that it could have possibly been Mia's ex. What was his name? Ink with a C. Um, could have possibly been Mia's ex. And honestly, they're the same height. But yeah, Kelly went on his radio show to do an interview, and there was just some hashtags of like Jarvisism or whatever. So I don't know if it's Jarvis or whatever. Also, whenever I hear Jarvis, I think of selling the OC. The girl's name, her name was like Alex Jarvis or whatever. And yeah, and I never knew what was up with her. So that's why I'm like, whenever I hear the term Jarvis, I'm like, it just describes someone that I never know what's really going on. So I hope Kelly, I hope this man, he's real, but I hope he's not hidden because you don't want something out about him. Regardless of that, the interview, like I said, with Carlos King was really good. But in terms of this episode, like they have this amazing event for, you know, Cynthia Bailey agency, and then also, you know, Angela's mom, whose 1 year anniversary. They have this amazing basketball event, and Angela and Shamea are really just like arguing throughout the whole thing. And even K Michelle points it out. She's like, I'm shocked Angela is feeding into this given how much this event means to her, you know? And Angela and her, they do toy with each other. And I'm like, it's funny now, it's comical. But I'm like, what is the actual beef between you two? I don't know. I really don't know what the drama is. Is it from that conversation? Because Angela says it is because of Portia, but Shamea is saying it isn't. But I do think Shamea has to be honest. I think you're upset that her and Portia are buddy buddy now, and it's like I just laughed at a joke, and I'm now me and you aren't even cool, and it's turned to this whole thing, this whole Sasquatch thing. And I love how Angela literally named her basketball team that. Speaking of Angela, there is something very weird going on between her and her daughter. And I don't know why we aren't speaking about it. They aren't saying it on the show. Are you upset that your daughter got married because she was in her 20s? Are you upset? I think she was like 22 and she didn't tell you. Okay. So we have that. Are you upset that she married a woman? Or C, is it all of the above? I think it could be a combination of, or D, it's D, all of the above. So we got A, she got married. B, she didn't tell you. C, it's a woman. D, it's all of the above. That's what it's giving. But they're not talking about it. Obviously, last episode, if you guys give a listen, I did recite tweets. You know, Angela's daughter was defending her mom. And then Angela was defending her awkwardness in the situation, saying, I don't care what anyone says, like, you were still my baby. Like, you literally got married and didn't tell me. I think it could be that, but I also think there is something we're not talking about with this whole sexuality thing, in the fact that she feels the reason and keeps saying, well, her partner's been in her life since she was 17. I think there's a part of her that's like still coming into terms. And you can be cool with your kid being gay. Like you can be very accepting of it, but it could still be something where it's like, I gotta remember that my you know, kid's gay. It might have to be something you have to reroute. I don't know why the kids have to know. Especially the one kid, he's like 11, 12. I'm pretty sure he heard that whole conversation. So if he didn't know if his sister was married now to her best friend, he definitely knows now because he was definitely creeping down the stairs, and listening to the whole conversation. But yeah, I'm interested in that storyline because I'm like, they're not talking about something. They're not getting to the root of like actually what is going on. Like clearly something else is going on. And she was saying like, when I talk to you, I can't talk to you. It's always about you. So I'm like, Angela doesn't seem like the type to be like self-centered and like just talk about her. Like she doesn't seem like the type. But I don't know. I just feel like we're missing puzzle pieces. Like, is it just genuinely the fact that you got married, you didn't tell your mom? Or is it the fact that she didn't expect you to actually get married to your best friend who's a girl? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And like I said, Angela's daughter is awfully young. She's 23, I think. And I think she got married like at 20 or something. Like, she got married very young, and then obviously she did not tell her mom. So I don't know. The ladies though, they will be heading to Scotland in the next episode, and I'm really excited. And I'm excited that Phaedra and Portia are planning it, and that they talked about why they did Scotland, because that does seem like a very odd place to go on vacation, especially if you are from the A. And I think it was interesting that they both said they both had good experiences with the traders. Who is going to be the next Atlanta trader? It's definitely giving Angela Oakley is going to be on there for sure. Um, or I don't know, will Nene Leakes be on? I feel like Nene Leakes is almost like too big of a get. I don't know. But they did explicitly say, like, hey, we both went on the traders. We both had good experiences in Scotland. So we think it would be cool to go back and give everyone that same feel. So I'm honestly excited for the trip. Andy did just tweet that he's gearing up for the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. So to tweet his questions. So if you have questions, make sure you tweet them. I think perhaps the only question I genuinely have is, okay, I have two questions. What happened between Portia's mother and Shamea's mother that has been so, you know, cemented negatively into their friendship? And then my second question would literally be, what is Angela's issue with Shamea? And I don't want Shamea to respond at all. I want to know what is Angela's issue with Shamea. And then let's go from there. Because I don't I like I get it like for the show and everything, but I'm like, and that's another thing Shamea did mention in her interview with Carlos King. She said when she got into an argument with Angela, she's like, Angela kind of did like a 180 once cameras were down. She's like, oh, you're not still upset, right? Like, we're just doing that for the show. So I'm hearing, so Shamea's other issue with the women on the show, at least, or like with forming friendships on this show, is the fact that they're able to turn it on and off for cameras. And she's like, no, I'm actually like really upset with you. Also, she was really she's like in the middle of defending her jobs right now with the NBA and the NFL after these allegations that she's been sleeping with Falcon and Hawks players. I'm like, probably in the past, but it's like, the gag is, like she said in her interview, why would I sleep with them when Gerald could literally buy the team? And it's like, I believe that their money's thick, tight, HVAC. That's where the money is at. But other than that, I want to know, what is Angela's issue with Shamea, because I think Shamea's issues with Angela are all reactionary to Angela's issues with her. I want to talk about Rhode Island because I just finished watching the reunion. The reunion was really good. Rhode Island, hey, it was a very strong season. It started off very strong, and I feel like it really finished on a strong note. I feel like I have some opinions I want to share about some people. Do I think Liz has issues? Yes, I think she has an issue remembering. I don't know if she's drunk half the time, but it makes her interesting. Her ability to take accountability and apologize to Alicia is very amazing, but in the same breath she kind of flips it, and it's just kind of like, girl, are you sorry or are you not sorry? You apologize to Alicia, you've apologized to her on Watch Women's Live, you apologized to her in the after show, now you've apologized to her face, but in the same breath you're like, I feel ambush. I don't know how Liz can feel ambush in the car, but apparently she feels ambush. There were voice memos sent, voice memos on Joellen's behalf. And that brings me to my opinion on Joellen. Gorgeous girl. I don't care if it's plastic surgery or not. I think Joellen has a very beautiful face. She has a very strong mix of Teresa Giudice and an actor. I had an actor in mind and I keep forgetting. She low-key does look like Teresa Giudice's like cousin though or something. Um, I think Joellen's really pretty. I always say Joellen is kind of like mixed with like the Kardashians too. Like she's a very pretty face. Unfortunately, it is a two-faced face. I do think she's a little two-faced. Apparently she was sending voice memos to um, Liz about the car scene. Apparently, they were trying to set up that car scene to be what it was, and it was that, and that is why Liz reacted the way she did. Do I believe it? I don't know. But Joellen, I do genuinely think she should spend more time healing. I think that is someone that is always trying to latch on to the next thing, and that is being in someone's business, because I don't know, maybe her life's a little boring, maybe she wants Brian to spice it up, like I don't know. But if we're not talking about the whole Kelsey and whether she had an affair with someone, or not Kelsey, I mean Rosie, and she had an affair with the basketball coach, and it's just like, where are the receipts? You're saying there's a police report. Where's the police report? And there's no police report with her being in this car. And it's like, you said the cops were talking about it with you. I don't know. I understand what Liz means when she says like, you're an investigator, like you make sure you want to do everything. And it kind of makes me look at you different, because it's like, girl, how much time do you have in your hands? Just like her and Rulla going at it. Honestly, I live for their feud though, because Rulla and her, they was cussing each other out. Peacock, period, censor version. Also, Peacock, I'm sorry, I made a joke. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should go watch Casa Amor in theaters. Why the heck would I go spend my hard-earned money to go watch Casa Amor in theaters when I pay for Peacock with no ads? Like, no. But you know what it is giving? It is giving I need to get a projector in my studio, because I have this huge shade I can bring up and down. I don't think I'm ever going to get a bigger TV, because I don't really care to get a bigger TV. Like, I just don't. But the girls are getting projectors. And it's like, I can have a projector. That would have been tea to watch Casa Amor on a projector. But yeah, them, Peacock and NBCU, they're just trying to get all of our monies now, because we is already paying for Peacock premiums. And you want us to go to the theaters to go watch Casa Amor. It's not giving. It's not giving at all. But regardless of that, on the Peacock uncensored version, Joellen and Rulla, they are going at it, you guys. Like, I literally cannot keep up. So yeah, Joellen, I don't trust Joellen, but do I like her? Yes. But I do think she's two-faced. Just like, I think it was very interesting how she was friends with Rosie at one point during the season, and you could tell Liz and Kelsey were genuinely shocked. They were like, like, why is she texting you? Because you be in on the group chats too, dogging her. And then Kelsey or Rosie, I get Kelsey and Rosie's name mixed up, even though I don't think they look alike, but I do think they look alike. But I do get their names confused. Even though Rosie's like, I know there was a group chat with Liz, Kelsey, and Joellen, and then Joellen said that Liz made you delete it. And I'm like, Joellen, why would you say if Liz made you delete it, first of all? And then second of all, that's what Liz be talking about. Like, she's like, you're very sneaky and cunning and conniving. So it's like, you want to act like you dislike her as well, but then but in front of her, you're like saying, I'm telling you to do this stuff, or like, we're actually have a group chat talking about you. It's very wish-washy. It is very wish-washy, very flip-floppy. So I kind of, like I said, I understand where Liz is coming from in terms of Joellen's sneakiness. It is a little sneaky, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little sneaky, and it makes you question like her her motives. And it makes me question, like, girl, are you bored? Like, you need something to do. So we find out there was a group chat. Liz did say we should probably delete and start over, because she was catching on to Joellen. I think Liz is someone that's like in real time, like, I don't know if I can fully trust Joellen. Joellen claims they were really good friends, and so she's like really shocked. But perhaps out of this whole reunion, I got out of this like, Liz is more upset with Joellen. I think because Joellen, oh my gosh, and there goes my phone, like literally, um, recording everything I say. I think Liz is genuinely catching on to Joellen, and just like, I think there is something about Joellen, I agree, that is very sneaky. I think she is very sneaky. Regardless, let's get into like what happened in the front or the beginning of the reunion, which is like Kelsey and Rosie going at it. And you know what? Kelsey clocked Rosie when she's like, when Rosie's like, or Kelsey's like basically, oh, do you really think me sucking D is a career or whatever? Like that's my career. And Kelsey or Rosie, guys, oh my gosh, their names. I think it's the E's. Rosie's like, well, your only other coworker was in Florida. Rosie can read. She can read. She's very witty with it too. She's very sharp with it. She's very quick with it. She can read. And that was a good read when she said when your only coworker was in Florida and you knew about that, right? And Kelsey had nothing to say. She was like, okay, Kelsey, and I've said this before, is jealous of Rosie. Rosie has some motion in Rhode Island and quite frankly has the power to attract a lot of people. I think news anchors in smaller cities are treated like celebrities. It's kind of like Shamea. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh, like it's like they're local celebrities. We now know that um what was I saying? Kelsey was in a very fragile situation. She was leaving her sugar daddy, who we all hear apparently she had her like broken up with him. So it's like, was she really leaving him? I don't know. Regardless of that, what we do know is that Rosie had apparently been promoting other people's stuff. She was even promoting Pizza Mama for Alicia. She was promoting a lot. And then it's like Kelsey had went to her a couple times and she's like, or you had came to Kelsey to get your hair done once. And it's like to not promote it is insane. I think she was really banging on her promoting it. I think she was really hoping it would help. Like, hey, like, can you please promote my services? And I've said this before. I think she was hoping for that post. Her posting it would be like Ashley honestly posting it. Ashley obviously posting it is like bigger. And I am noticing Kelsey really does want to be friends with Ashley. She even admitted, she's like, I've been watching her forever. I've been following her since 2015. So it's pretty cool to like see her. And I think she's like so upset that Ashley's like friends with Rosie and like they actually connect. I think Kelsey wants to connect with the younger girls. I really do. I really think she wants to be cool because her, Rosie, and Ashley are around the same age. I really do think she wants to be cool with both of them. I think she tries to be cool with Ashley, but it's like Ashley, obviously, her allegiance is with Rosie. Like her and Rosie have a very true friendship. And that's what I do love about Rhode Island. You could tell the friendship's so clear, right? And I think Kelsey wants in on that. And especially, like I said, they're younger. And, I think she wants the perks of hanging out with Ashley, former Bachelorette star. Let's talk about it. I think she's really upset that she's not in a good place with Rosie. Because at the end of the day, I know women like Ashley. Ashley, the way that she even turned to her on the couch to Rosie, I don't know, can I hang out with her? Like, is it okay? And then Rosie's like, you're a grown woman, you can do what you want. Mm, she can do what she want, but she gonna ask you because you're her friend, right? Like she doesn't want her friend being uncomfortable. So I think that's interesting. I just think Rosie don't mess with Kelsey. So she's like, why am I about to give you promotion? I really don't care. And I don't blame her. That would be not genuine. At least she paid you. But you could tell with Kelsey, she didn't want to be paid. She wanted a shout out. So now it's like, were you even really trying to help me and service me? Or were you just trying to get a shout out to begin with? Regardless of that, something weird happened, okay, between Liz and Rulla. Liz says she has an experience with Rulla in these phone calls and stuff. And basically, Rulla alluded that her and Liz have been in similar situations. And so then we get this story of, Liz running into an old time friend of 30 years. Her and Jerry were separated at the time. And she made out with this guy. And apparently, who told Jerry? Not Lizzie, Rulla and Brian. They actually called up Brian, and then she was getting a phone call from her husband, her estranged husband, in the morning after her drunken night with this guy. that was kissing, but it was giving more than kissing, honestly. And then you got Joellen just nodding her head onto the side. She's like, I have experience with these. So what we do know is that Joellen has been laid off. She's been laid off slash fired. We don't know if it was because of the Brian of it all, but it's giving because of the Brian. I think Brian and Rulla have a lot of motion also in Rhode Island. They have pharmaceutical or some business that, you know, is clearly connected to what Joellen was doing. Joellen says now she's a stay-at-home mom. My question is, wasn't wasn't Gary a stay-at-home dad? So who is making the money? Obviously now she's on the show. I'm sure the show is supplying a lot of money, but they are first time housewives. And if anything, this is a first time city. So you're not going to be seeing Lisa Barlow money. And I say even Lisa Barlow because that is a newer housewife that definitely has a good contract. I could definitely see Joe Ellen becoming a Lisa Barlow for sure. Love her or hate her. She's not going to see that type of money until like fourth season because let's keep in mind, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I think they're going on to their seventh season now. And I would say Lisa Barlow's season 5, 6 is when she really started seeing that money flow and when ladies really did. So yeah, I don't know what else she's going to be doing. Obviously the influencing stuff works. We also, like I said, I talked about the group chat when they clearly are talking about Rosie. I don't know what their issue is with Rosie. Rosie apparently has I think it's because Rosie knows production because she has worked in the entertainment industry. And so they're afraid that Rosie gets a favorable edit or, she is more protected in her personality is when really it shouldn't be that way. But I don't know what the issue is. Obviously, Rosie is very well aware, but I do think it is very shady how Joellen, as soon as she's not cool with Liz and them, or Liz specifically, throws under the bus also Kelsey because she did and tells them about the group chat. Obviously, the part one ended with Rulla and Joellen getting into it. Rulla called Joellen a slut. And you know what? I was here for it. I don't think Joellen's a slut. I think she just had a good time. She talks about, was she promiscuous, back in her day? Is that what got her sent away? I don't know. I'm hoping we elaborate more on that. She said the moment that she got sent away, I think it was because she was taking a shower, like an hour-long shower with her boyfriend. I think she was actually like hooking up with him in her room. I mean, it's kind of like crazy, but like to send your kid away like for something like that is like insane to me. But I don't know. So yeah, they ended off in a screaming match, and I'm excited for the men to come out. You know how essential the men have to be to a cast for them to come out for the first season of Housewives? Like, it's clearly essential that we get Brian out there, and it's essential we get all the husbands out there to really talk about the things. Liz and Alicia left things on a good note. Even though, like I said, Liz will do this thing where she'll apologize, but then she's like, "You were trying to ambush me," and she thought Alicia was amping it up to make herself cry more. She does that weird thing where she thinks everyone's coming for her and against her. I do agree with Joellen when she said that. But for some reason, she cannot accept Joellen, and Joellen and her were actually friends. I don't know if it's because, but she is for some reason is denying her friendship with Joellen, and I need to know why. Because it's like, I thought you guys were friends, but when you rewatch the season, and I might do it, you can tell there's certain instances where Liz calls Joellen out. And it's like, I don't know if she was figuring out in real time, like, I don't know if this is a friend or a foe. And I think she was literally trying to figure that out in real time. Regardless of that, because I am about to wrap up. I guess I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. This was a reality TV episode. The Valley. I don't know if, and I've already said it, I don't know if Schwartz and Lala were really even necessary on this cast. I gave The Valley a couple more seasons, but it looks like it was already renewed. Kristen confirmed in the comment section. It's just, it's not doing it for me. Danny and Nia, I don't know if they're coming back because it's almost getting so difficult to act like there's not a situation. I agree though, a lot of them have issues with drinking. And I think Brittany is one of them. The way that she is able to hop off of a surgery table to go meet her friends down in Mexico while she's in a diaper, literally recovering from lipo, to down, keep in mind, a shot of tequila, and that stuff adds up. Like, it's not helping. And it's like, we already know she had that one disease, that stomach disease, where the doctor quite literally told her drinking makes you sick. That is why you're getting sick. And that's why Jax was like very frustrated with her for a long time on the first season of Valley. He was like, and then this even happened on VPR, one of those seasons where she's like, the doctor literally told, like, you probably shouldn't be drinking. Like, something with your stomach cannot handle it. Like, I think she had like a hole or something. I can't remember. Um, it is never that deep. She couldn't even miss this cast trip. I get going to the cast trip, but it's like, bro, you just got your surgery. You're just fresh off of the table for lipo, and you're downing liquor. Brittany may have a problem. And I always say this, and I will keep saying this. Brittany is no victim in this whole Jax and her situation. She knew exactly the type of guy Jax Taylor was. She thought this man was going to give her all her hopes and dreams, taking this southern small town girl out of her little city of Kentucky and placing her in DTLA, downtown LA. She knew he was on a show. She was totally fine with it. She knew he was going to give her the breast she wanted. She thought she was going to make it. She thought she was going to be one of Hugh Hefner girls with the big tits. And she thought her and Jax were going to live this modern Jackie Kennedy, not even Jackie Kennedy, Marilyn Monroe and John F. Kennedy love story. She thought it was going to be giving that, and that this man rescued her and she's this celebrity now and all this stuff. And it crashed and burned because you knew what kind of man he was. And because of that, I also think you mentally are messed up. I definitely think that she has learned a lot of habits from Jax. The way she corners Kristen's like, why are you automatically defending Nia? Why are we pretending like this surgery is something you needed? I mean, does it help? I'm sure. But this isn't something you needed to get, and you're upset that everyone's not fully supporting you, or you're upset that we're not acting like this is something like you're getting your kidney removed. You got lipo. It was a cosmetic selective surgery. You want everyone to bow down and rally around you because you're used to being the underdog. You're not the underdog anymore. You're kind of snaky. You're kind of a mean girl. And we all know you don't like Nia. For some reason, she doesn't like Nia. She thinks they're fake. She thinks they're performative. But I would say I think Brittany's performative as well. I think you all are a bunch of performative MFers, honestly. Especially the people that took pictures of Kristen changing her poor daughter Kaya in the restroom. Like, fans, you gotta get a grip. You have to get a grip. That's my 2 cents on the Valley, because honestly, like I said, I'm not really enjoying this season. I'm just not. But yes, I'll be back next week with another episode of Toxic Tuesday. Probably talk about some reality topics next week. If there's anything going on. If not, there's so much Love Island to talk about. I didn't even get a chance to talk about Love Island UK today, because that would definitely be a supersized episode. I'm trying to wait for Love Island UK for a couple more episodes to binge. I'm kind of getting spoiled now on Twitter with like everything that's happening in the UK. And it's like, you guys have to remember in America, we're like 2 weeks behind, or at least like, I think we're like a week behind. So I'm trying to wait until more episodes come out. Love Island UK, you guys, has been really good. Oh my gosh. Reality TV unrelated, I finished Running Point second season. Amazing. Netflix does this thing where they have these like cute 30-minute sitcoms that are much needed, and I would place Running Point and Nobody Wants This in the same bracket of like, that's what I needed. And I would even put Emily in Paris, even though they're gonna have their final season. um just like nice shows. So it's like you can just shut off your brain. But Running Point, I actually really like, and I'm really excited for the third season. It's already renewed. I need Forever to come back. I don't know when that's coming back. I feel like they've been like in production forever. But yes, I will see you guys next week, and I'll give you guys the update. Next week, I will be here. The following week, 4th of July, nobody should be here. Nobody. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.